Hello, my name is Ethan Von Thillo. I'm Executive Director and founder of the Media Arts Center San Diego and San Diego Latino Film Festival. If you'd like to learn more about our film festival and all the great programs that we have going on here in San Diego, check out this cool interview. I think I fell in love with movies, maybe when I was in junior high or maybe the first year in high school. My parents took me to see Milos Forman's Amadeus. And, I grew up in San Clemente in Southern California, where we didn't have a movie theater in our city. And so we drove all the way up to Newport. We also wanted to see it on the big screen too. So drove up to Newport to see it on the big screen. And I watched Amadeus, and that was just incredible. I at the time I also played music, so I played violin. So classical music was obviously important to me, but the visuals and that was incredible. And then I would say about the same period, my parents, we saw Koyaanisqatsi together, Philip Glass's Koyaanisqatsi. And that was just incredible. Never had seen anything like it in terms of being innovative, experimental, also with, experimental music as well. So those two films, Koyaanisqatsi, Amadeus, is kind of what made me fall in love with cinema. And then in terms of actually being part of the creative process, like producing content, that didn't come later. Again, I had always been a musician in terms of artistic and doing things artistically, but I was maybe a freshman or sophomore at UC Santa Cruz, and I had started the Chicano Film Festival up there. And then at one of the Chicano Film Festivals, I had a young Latino filmmaker come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm Chicano. We should make a movie together." And me being the organizer that I was and am, I was the producer of that film. So I helped him find the money and do all the kind of, executive producer and producing aspects of that short film, which, ended up to be nominated for a Student Academy Award. It was great. It was called Regeneration. So that was the first film that I produced. I think it's important that people enjoy movies and go to the movies and have that unique movie going experience. I think, the past few years, especially with the pandemic, we're so used to like staying at home, and getting that instant gratification from Netflix or one of these, streaming services. But, there's nothing like going inside a cinema, getting the surround sound and that huge screen, when the lights go off, and just that experience of being surrounded by the image and sound is incredible. I think that there's nothing like it. And so I encourage people to kind of, get out of their comfort zone a little bit, get out of their homes, see movies on the big screen again, support independent films, definitely foreign films on the big screen as well. And then not only do you get to see the movies on the big screen, the audio and sound and stuff like that, but by participating in a film festival or going to an art house cinema, you also have the opportunities occasionally to actually meet the filmmakers. So lots of times there's intros and Q&As with the filmmakers. And then when you leave the lobby, also, you're seeing movies with people that also want to be there. So this idea of being in the lobby and talking about the content or talking about the film, that's something that's very special and it's very unique. And I think it's important. Our annual San Diego Latino Film Festival, it's almost like a place where people come back home every year. It's like the same people come out, their families and friends, or they just see each other once a year. But you see them in the lobby talking about the films and so that, and so that's really special. And we need to encourage that. And I think humans, we are social, people. We need to get out. We need to see these films. We need to come. But again, I think the challenge is going to be convincing people, to kind of get away from Netflix and Amazon and all these things and see movies in the big screen again. But I think once you get there, you'll see why, like, oh yeah, this is really special. I founded the San Diego Latino Film Festival in 1994. 1994 was the first edition of the San Diego Latino Film Festival. And at that time, it was called Cine Estudiantil. The reason I did that is because when I went to UC Santa Cruz in 88, 8 or 9, I was taking a Chicano studies class, and the professor there said, "Hey, who wants to organize a film festival as part of your final class project?" And so I naively said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And Armando Valdez was his name. He was the professor, and that's where I learned. I didn't even know what Chicano film was at that time. So at 88, 89, that's where I learned about Chicano film. And that's where he taught me, like, okay, well, how are we going to get money? So he taught me how to write a proposal to one of the, the history department, and how do you write a press release, and what's a poster, what's marketing. So I remember we drew our first poster. So it was at UC Santa Cruz where I organized the Chicano Film Festival. Then I went on to produce some films. And so then when I graduated about 92, I came down to San Diego, and I saw that San Diego didn't have a Chicano Film Festival with a huge population, obviously on both sides of the border. So I immediately said to myself, I've always been a self-starter organizer. So I said, I'm just gonna do it. That's one thing I know how to do. So I immediately went to UC San Diego and San Diego State University. I knew how to get funding from the different departments, and I connected with student groups in both of those universities. And that's where Cine Estudiantil got started, at the UCSD, San Diego State University, and then in partnership with the Centro Cultural de la Raza in Balboa Park, and then also UABC, a university in Baja California. And that's the first film festival, 1994, Cine Estudiantil. We eventually founded the nonprofit organization called the Media Arts Center San Diego in 1999. So, the film festival started first in 1994, but then we started growing. The festival started growing. We started doing like year-round programming, partnering with the San Diego Library, for example, and we had a Cine Club going on in the Centro Cultural de la Raza. So we started receiving funding, and then we started doing more programming. And then I think it was 1998, the film festival moved from the university setting into like a downtown mainstream cinemas, and we had like Edward James Olmos and Ray Bradbury come. And so it started growing, and corporate America also started to awake to the fact that, oh my gosh, there's all these Latinos that we could sell our products to. So we started getting corporate sponsorship. So we started growing, doing more programs. And so it was 1999, the advisory committee for the film festival eventually became the board of the nonprofit, which is called the Media Arts Center San Diego. And it would have been real easy just to call the Media Arts Center San Diego like the San Diego Latino Film Foundation, but we really wanted to do something larger and different. And so we modeled the Media Arts Centers San Diego off other media arts centers in throughout the country. For example, Bay Area Video Coalition, or Film Arts in San Francisco, 911 Media Arts Center in Seattle. So there's various models of media arts centers across the country where you're not only exhibiting films like the San Diego Latino Film Festival, so you're exhibiting and supporting independent filmmakers, local filmmakers, but then also you have workshops. And so we have workshops for 6-year-olds up to like 30-year-olds, independent filmmakers and young teens. And then also you produce content. So you help the community, you give them access to equipment, or you help the community tell their own stories. And so we've had digital story stations, we've had community production studios, various initiatives where we help the community to tell their own stories. So 3 departments: film exhibition, education, and production are the 3 key departments of our nonprofit called the Media Arts Center San Diego. And yeah, it's much more than just reaching the Latino community. We work with refugees, immigrants throughout the city of San Diego, foster care youth, you name it. We really try to connect to different schools and different communities throughout the city. The San Diego Latino Film Festival, is celebrating 30 years now. We started it 1994, started as a small student film festival, and now has grown to an event that hosts over 160 movies from throughout Latin America, Mexico, the U.S. In addition to the movies, we have over 100 actors and filmmakers that will be in attendance to introduce their films, do Q&As, participate in workshops. And then we've also, over the years, kind of expanded this idea of like, it's not just a film festival, but it's a celebration of Latino culture. So we have concerts. We have a whole Sonido Latinos concert series that we call it in the mall. There's live music and dance every day, 11 days a week. So you can get there, hang out, and see live music. Then we have a food festival called Sabor Latino, where we're celebrating, Latin American food and Mexican food. Then we have opening night parties and closing night galas and concerts. So we've really tried to make it a celebration of Latino culture. I forgot to mention, we have Arte Latino as well. We have exhibits and artists and vendors that participate. So this idea of people coming in to celebrate one's culture and community has always been an important part of the festival. I've always believed in this idea of creating a festival village in this environment. So whether it's a mall or wherever we are, you feel like you're within the festival, within the music and the art. And then, an important part of the film festival too is that, even though we're on the border and we screen lots of Mexican films, it's really important that we celebrate the diversity of the Latino community and Latino cinema. So we have films from Argentina, Chile, Peru, Brazil, Central America, Spain, you name it. So it's like every one of these communities come to our film festival, and we have different 4 auditoriums. So one screen you can see a Chicano film, the next auditorium you see a Brazilian film, and the next one you see a Mexican film. Like, to me, that's wonderful, and all the communities are coming out to see their films and see themselves on the big screen. Especially if you're not from around here, from Argentina or Chile, to see one's culture and community and language on the big screen is huge. So celebrating the diversity of the community, and then not only the diversity of the community within countries, but diversity within genres and LGBTQ movies, films directed by women, films directed by students, local filmmakers, frontera filmmakers. So it's really important that the film festival celebrate all different aspects of the community. I think that's what's made the festival special. Not only is it the oldest Latino festival here in Southern California, or in California in general, but it's also it's a festival that's always celebrated the diversity of our community. And then I think really important, early on. We've had Alfonso Cuarón and Diego Luna, Gael Garcia, but now we've had an incredible amount of people come to the festival. But more than anything, it's a festival for the local community, and I think I've always focused on that. So as long as we're screening movies that the local community want to see, I think it's always going to be successful, and it's always going to grow. And then I think finally, I will add that the festival, I think people see that the festival is much more than just this idea of red carpet and celebrities and stuff like that. That at the end of the day, anyone who buys tickets, it goes back to supporting our nonprofit, our educational programs. And so they see our work with the youth and the community that we do on a daily basis. And so it's important that the festival is rooted in the community. I want the Southern California communities and San Diego communities to attend this 30th anniversary, celebrate our 30 years, and then also just get them to return to coming back to seeing movies in the big screen. And yes, a lot of people have told me, "Oh, I've seen Top Gun and I've seen Avatar," but there's more than 2 films out there. And we really need to encourage people to get back to the cinemas, get back to the movie theater. So more than anything, I just want to reintroduce them to the film festival. I've been telling people, I'd be happy to give you free tickets just to come back and see the movies out there. Number 2, I think in terms of the Latino community, Latino cinema, even despite the huge population of Latinos in this country, again, it's still pretty sad. The really small percentage of Latinos in front and behind the camera. We're still dealing with 2 to 3% of Latinos in the industry. So that's appalling, and it should be continued. We need to continue to fight for that more representation, both behind and in front of the camera. So it's really important that people understand that. I think occasionally we see, Guillermo del Toro, someone won another award, so everything must be okay, but that's not true. And so we need to keep on fighting for more representation. And then additionally, we also need to make sure the film festival and others understand too that we're still fighting like the negative stereotypes that are constantly being portrayed in mainstream cinema, or mainstream news, for example, even more so. We obviously live on the busy border of Baja California and San Diego, but you're constantly seeing the rhetoric coming from politicians, or the rhetoric from mainstream news media, where you just constantly see the negative nature of the border. And so I want the festival, and I hope people from Southern California and San Diego get to see another aspect of the border, another aspect of a Latino community that they haven't seen before. And for me too, sometimes, the film festival is almost like, it's almost like receiving a passport and being able to travel to all these amazing countries without having to spend the money and get on the airplanes. For me to connect with, a wonderful actor, a wonderful story from Brazil or Peru or Chile, or even about the border that I wouldn't have known about, I think is something special. So I think I want people to really understand the full Latino experience by seeing as many movies as possible. Personally, as the founder and executive director of the San Diego Latino Film Festival, I'm always looking forward to seeing people's faces when they leave the theater, when they leave the cinema. It's incredible to see. I mean, sometimes very happy talking. You could just tell the energy, that film's going to win the audience award. Or, you see they're sad. They might be crying or something like that because it's a very serious movie. So I just love to see the reactions, the comments, and the engagement from the community members. To me, that's at the end of the day. Again, it's not about the red carpet, the celebrities, and the corporate sponsors or whatever. It's about those attendees that come out of the theater with a smile or a tear in their eye, and that have been impacted by those films that they've seen on the big screen. I've learned a lot over the past 30 years, and organizing a film festival or any large production. I think a lot of people don't understand how really difficult it is. It's very hard to do this every year because you're fighting against so many different things, scheduling, funding, and all that kind of stuff. So one thing I've learned over the years is to always have your big goal in mind and always say, okay, I'm going to do this film festival in March. You might not get there the way you think you're going to get there, but you're going to do it. And I think that's really important. I think the community has seen that we've committed. We said we're going to do it, and we're good to our word, and we're going to do a film festival. So again, always have that big goal in your mind. I've also learned, just from the filmmakers, is that a lot of them, they just want to have a wonderful time when they're here with the community. And so, like, how can we help filmmakers connect to audiences? How do we get them to have a good time and with here while they're in San Diego? Take them to the zoo or something like that. Take them shopping, and also more importantly, how do we connect them to other filmmakers? That networking opportunity is really something important. So we have mixers and kind of pre-screenings, receptions, and stuff like that, so filmmakers participate. In terms of the customer experience, always have good quality audio, video, technically subtitles. You got to have a great production no matter what, so it's professional and they can enjoy the film. And then finally, for the customer experience too, it's just diversity of content, and I know this is actually getting harder and harder every day to get the content that we want, but to have some comedies, have some dramas, but not all the same thing. And so, like, really diversifying the content is really important for the customer. Why must the community attend the San Diego Latino Film Festival? I think it's really important for the community to support Latino cinema, to support representation. Again, I think I mentioned earlier, despite the large Latino population in this country, it's pretty dismal, the amount of Latino actors in front of the camera and then Latino directors, producers behind the camera. It's a very small percentage, and it doesn't make any sense. And so I think it's important that people come out to an event like this, a festival like that, to show the industry, to show Hollywood that yes, we are here and we demand to see movies that represent our community and or movies that support, young Latino writers and actors and filmmakers. And so the demanding representation is the thing supported. And again, the other thing is demanding a more accurate portrayal of the Latino community on the screen by buying a movie ticket and supporting these Latino film festivals or Latino films. You're saying to Hollywood and industry that we want to see an accurate representation of our community, and we don't want to see the negative stereotypes that we continue to see in mainstream news and mainstream media. 30 years is a lot of years. Number one, my hopes and dreams for the film festival and our nonprofit is to continue, to be a resource for the local community, to educate young kids and young filmmakers how to make their own films, how to tell their own stories. So one of my dreams is that young filmmakers that have been participating in our workshops will eventually go on to make some feature films that are exhibited in the film festival, and or they come back and organize the film festival. So we were trying to create the future generations of both filmmakers and also the film programmers. In terms of the San Diego Latino Festival in particular, I think the festival is going to go through some changes just naturally because what's happening with the streaming services and how our world's changed drastically. So the festival needs to constantly adapt to that, and what type of films will we screen, what type of content and filmmakers that we support. So again, I think it's important that young filmmakers and or young arts programmers get involved with the film festival and like create the film festival that they want to see during the next 30 years. The Media Arts Center San Diego started about 23 years ago or something like that. And like I said, we have three key departments. There's education programs, there's film exhibition programs, and there's the community production program. One of the departments is obviously the film exhibition program. So we have the annual San Diego Latino Film Festival, but then we also have this amazing, very cool, unique independent cinema movie theater here in downtown San Diego on Park and Market. Just built a brand new cinema. It's only 58 seats, but it's the only single cinema left in the city of San Diego. It's one of the few cinemas in this area that screens independent and foreign films on a daily basis. So from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week, you can see a cool independent foreign film. We're screening some of the Oscar-nominated documentary shorts this coming weekend. We had a German film, a Mexican film a few days ago. So there's something for everybody, cults, classics. So the Digital Gym Cinema, it's called, on Park and Market. Check out digitaljim.org to see what independent films that we're screening. And then on our education side of things, we have spring and summer youth media and tech camps for 6-year-olds to 13-year-olds. So young kids can come in, they're using iPads or iPhones or little cameras, and they're making quick little stop motion animation films. They spend a whole week doing pre-production, production, and post-production. And then on Fridays, we show it on the big screen for their families and stuff like that. So we have camps for young kids, but then we have a lot of programs for older teens and young adults as well. So we have our Teen Producers Project on Saturday, an introductory class to Teen Producers Project where they do short documentaries, but then we have an advanced Teen Producers where they do short narrative films. But then we also go into the community. So we work with the City Heights Library, Hoover High School, and various different organizations and schools. We're helping young adults, you learn the pre-production, production, and post-production, but also just helping kids just get excited about education, learning about technology or language skills, depending on the site. We have an amazing program where we're actually paying young adults to get trained. They get like $550 to do their training for 6 weeks. And then afterwards, they get like up to $6,000 paid internship to work on the various departments within the City Heights. With the city library, so they're getting paid to do the production that we train them to do. So a lot of education programs, and then so people can get involved that way. And then the third way is that, we produce content for local community members, and so we produce content for KPVS, for example, called Speak City Heights. Or we produce content for even some local school districts like Cajon Valley School District. And so that's a great way for current college filmmakers or maybe recent graduates who want to get, build up their reel a little bit. They can get part of our production team, and it's a, paid opportunity, but then they can kind of build up their reel and learn how to work in the, corporate video environment and produce content as well. So that's our community production side of things. Why people should get involved with the Media Arts Center San Diego or San Diego Latino Film Festival is that, if you're a local filmmaker and you want to be a filmmaker, the best way to be a filmmaker is, number one, to do it. So get involved and with some of our production department, get on a crew, produce content. The other way, if you want to be a filmmaker, is to see films. You got to see films. So come to the movie theater and be a usher volunteer, watch all these incredible independent films. And then the film festival, there's 160 movies. Again, you got to see movies if you want to make movies. And then the film festival is 11 days. There's also going to be over 100 actors and filmmakers. So what a great opportunity to get your business card out and meet all these people and talk about cinema and or talk about how they got into their careers. And so again, I encourage everyone I exemplify that. My career exemplifies that. If you want to do something, you just got to do it, but you got to be proactive, and you got to get out there and got to do it. So the best way to do it is to be involved, not just with our nonprofit, but any of the other nonprofits in the area that might be working with film or media arts or visual programs. And then, if you're not in school, try to get into a community college or a local university. There's tons of educational programs as well, on top of ours. So again, learn the craft, but also participate in the craft, be on a crew, and then watch lots of movies. Our Media Arts Center San Diego, it's a 501c3 nonprofit, and we need the community support, both financially and or volunteering or some kind of in-kind support. So I definitely always put out a call to community members to buy movie tickets. That's an easy way that you can support our nonprofit. It's just every day we're screening movies, and it's a fun way. You also might work for an organization or a school, like try to get others to come too, like try to get a group to come, try to get students to come. So by buying movie tickets, you can get involved. You can also become a member of our Media Arts Center San Diego. We have different membership levels where you get free tickets or discounted tickets or discounts to our youth media and tech camps. If you're a parent and you got kids, that need to have something to do in the summer or vacation time, they can participate and buy registration for our camps or buy membership for our camps. So, also, you might have a small business or company or nonprofit that needs to produce media. We all need to produce promos and testimonials. So you can also hire our production company. Our video production department will produce content for you as well. So buy movie tickets, get your kids involved with educational programs, and or hire us to produce your next video. It's just one of three ways that you can participate and support our nonprofit and make it sustainable for the future. And something new that's happening this year at the upcoming San Diego Latino Film Festival is, we have a opening night party and we have a closing night party. So it's, much more than just a film. So we have a 12-piece all-woman salsa band on March 9th. And then we have this great Colombian cumbia band called Sonora Dinamita on March 18th. So again, something exciting, and it's all what's new about it is that too, it's gonna take place here at our location, which is on Park and Market in downtown San Diego. So in addition to screening movies at AMC Mission Valley, there the opening night and closing night parties and our movies, we're also gonna have our Digital Gym Cinema open here in Park and Market. So that's gonna be exciting to introduce people to our new space down here that otherwise wouldn't have come. My name is Ethan Von Thillo. I'm an executive director and founder of the Media Arts Center San Diego and the San Diego Latino Film Festival. And I like to invite everyone to come out to our 30th anniversary of the San Diego Latino Film Festival, March 9th through 19th. It's going to take place at AMC Mission Valley and our very own Digital Gym Cinema. Come and visit the film festival, and then while you're here, you can also check out our new movie theater in downtown San Diego called the Digital Gym Cinema. You can visit sdlatinofilm.com for ticket information and just synopsis of all the great films. So thank you very much for your support.